would constantly
God.
talk about people power while making decisions that benefited him.
I fucking hated this nigga's voice. Oh, we're gonna do this, Teddy. Don't forget it. People power. What? Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up? Yo, what up? It's Majay back here. Another video. Today we're about to be reacting to a video by Wrestle Fusion. The video is gonna be on most loved versus most hated WWE GMs. As like a GM, I really loved Teddy Long. Then goes Booker T. I hated Vicky Guerrero overall, but we were supposed to hate Vicky Guerrero. I mean, she did her job well. I hate her as a general manager, not as a person. Let me get that straight. But like, I really like Teddy Long because he literally had like so many iconic ass moments, especially the stick with the Undertaker. Every time somebody or one heel is just doing some crazy shit, or the heel tries to disrespect Teddy Long, he was like, "You're going 1-on-1 with the Undertaker." It's funny as hell, but when the Undertaker turned against him, it was crazy. But like, the era I really hate was the GM celebrity era of Raw. That shit was terrible. I know it was like some way to earn like more views, but it didn't work. It was the early 2000s and stars were weird back then. But let's just get into the video, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you've been enjoying the wrestling videos. Let's get into.
For every loved WWE general manager who fans cheered for, there's also one that made viewers want to change the channel. Starting with John Laurinaitis, who went from corporate stooge to the most boring authority figure in WWE history. Originally working behind this.
When I say I hated this nigga, I probably hate this nigga more than Vicky Guerrero. Yeah. And let me take that back. I really hate this nigga more than Vicky Guerrero. With Vicky Guerrero, it was a stick I hated her with. It's like it's like the type of person you're supposed to hate. I did that. I hated her for that. But with this nigga, it was like real life. It was like real life hate. Like he did it so good, but he behind the scenes he did some fuck shit too. So like, you know, it kind of ended up being a good thing to hate him for.
Scenes as WWE's head of talent relations, Big Johnny stepped into the spotlight in 2011 when he was named as the interim Raw general manager. The seeds for this run were planted when CM Punk mentioned Laurinaitis as a nonsensical yes man for Vince McMahon during his infamous pipe bomb promo leading into the 2011 Money in the Bank event. Over the following weeks, it'd be revealed that Big Johnny was trying to undermine Triple H's position as WWE's chief operating officer, as he wanted the role for himself. On the October 10th episode of Raw, after several members of the Raw roster walked out on Triple H, Vince McMahon would introduce Laurinaitis as the show's new general manager. What made fans instantly hate him was his monotone, robotic delivery and corporate buzzword-filled speeches that felt like reading a LinkedIn post. Laurinaitis would constantly talk about people power while making decisions that benefited him.
I fucking hated this nigga's voice. Oh, we're gonna do this, Teddy. Don't forget it. People power. What? Oh my God.
Himself and his handpicked superstars like Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. His feuds against John Cena and CM Punk were an attempt at recreating the boss versus employee dynamic of the legendary Vince Austin feud, but they ended up failing hard because Big Johnny had the charisma of a dead fish. By the time he was finally removed from power in 2012, fans were relieved after months of the people power torture. But while Laurinaitis made fans want to throw their remotes at the TV, the complete opposite can be said about Nick Aldis, who's quickly become one of the most respected general managers in WWE today. Taking over as SmackDown General Manager in 2024, the former NWA World Champion brought instant credibility to the role. Unlike the corporate stooges before him, Aldis feels like a legit authority figure who actually understands wrestling. His extensive wrestling background, including championship reigns across NWA and TNA, gives him the kind of street cred that makes his authority feel earned rather than handed down from corporate.
And honestly, it feels kind of legit because like if a person ever gets out of control, we know the general manager is like not really helpless, and it makes the role kind of different also too. Because you know, when general managers are just like pushing the corner, they're like, "Oh, I need help, please somebody come help me." It's usually like some sort of vulnerable figure, and they're usually always short. But like Nick Aldis puts like a different like twist on it. I mean, what's his name also does that too. I forgot his name. Yeah, I forgot his name, but he'll come up here. But yeah, he puts a different twist on the GM. I like it.
Love that he treats everyone with respect while not being afraid to take a stand when superstars cross the line. However, while Aldis has won over the WWE Universe, Adam Pearce has become one of the most
Oh yeah,
frustrating
yeah,
authority
okay. Adam
figures in
Pearce.
recent memory. The former NWA World Heavyweight Champion seemed like the perfect choice when he became WWE's on-screen authority figure in 2020. Fans initially respected his wrestling background and no-nonsense approach, but that goodwill quickly evaporated when Pearce started being a pushover and turned into a puppet for WWE's management. While Aldis stands up to wrestlers when they push him, Pearce lacks the backbone required from an authority figure and constantly gets bullied by names like Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, and even Dominic Mysterio. Fans have grown tired of his corporate speeches and his tendency to show up just to deliver bad news. The fact that he rarely gets physical or shows any emotion makes him feel more like a messenger boy than an actual authority figure. What started as promise has turned into frustration, with fans now groaning whenever he makes an appearance on Monday nights. Moving on.
Yeah, I really kind of took Adam Pearce a little serious in the beginning, but then, answering to the bloodline, getting like bitched out by the bloodline, it just kind of makes it like less of an authority, and then you just getting punked as like a general manager. I thought getting punked as a general manager is like a thing of the past, but I guess here we have that in 2026 still.
On from Adam Pearce's disappointing run, let's talk about the most beloved general manager in SmackDown history.
Teddy Long, let's go.
Taking over SmackDown in 2004, Teddy Long quickly won over the hearts of the WWE Universe with his unique catchphrases and refreshing energy. The former referee brought something WWE had never seen before, a general manager who felt like he genuinely cared about giving fans what they wanted. Long's signature phrases and his tendency to book tag team matches became legendary memes that fans still quote today. But what really made him special was his obvious love for the business. When heels would try to intimidate him, Long would stand his ground with a fiery passion that made fans want to cheer. His feuds with superstars like JBL, Booker T, Edge, and Vicky Guerrero established him as the force of justice on the blue brand, while his tendency to punish bad guys by making them face The Undertaker became iconic.
With The Undertaker!
Even when he made mistakes, fans forgave him because his heart was always in the right place. Towards the final stretch of his run, Teddy would get into feuds against The Undertaker, John Laurinaitis, and Cesaro before eventually...
I don't like his feud with John Laurinaitis. It just made him seem like he was like losing in that role. It wasn't like a back and forth dynamic with him.
Being released in 2014. His farewell from the blue brand had grown men crying because, after a decade, losing Teddy felt like losing a family member who just wanted everyone to have a good time.
Yeah.
But while Teddy...
I really wish they didn't fire Teddy Long, bro. I know they could have probably like had some other role for him, but like firing him from the... I know it'll get old for real as, him being the general manager, and they like to spice it up always and refresh and everything. But like they could have given him another role backstage, give him a legend contract or something, bro. He was like, to me, he's like one of the most legendary ass GMs, man.
Long made fans smile. Nobody has ever generated more pure hatred as SmackDown General Manager than Vicky Guerrero, who went on to become the most despised authority figure in the history of the blue brand.
Excuse me.
Following Eddie Guerrero's tragic death in 2005, Vicky initially appeared as a sympathetic widow, but that sympathy quickly turned to disgust when she started using Eddie's memory to manipulate situations for her own gain. Taking over as SmackDown General Manager in 2007, Vicky perfected the art of being absolutely insufferable. Her ear-piercing became the most hated catchphrase in wrestling.
Oh my god, every time she came out, bro, holy fuck. Like it's like nails on a chalkboard, just every time she said excuse me. Oh my god, bro, my ears were like hurting, bro. She was just overall annoying. Props to Vicky Guerrero playing the whole thing, dealing with all that hate. I think she in a sense loved that. I think she just knows she was like meant to play like a hated role.
Instantly making crowds erupt in boos so loud they could be heard from space. What made fans despise her wasn't just her shrill voice, it was how she'd constantly abuse her power to help her on-screen boyfriend Edge cheat his way to championships. She'd restart matches, change stipulations mid-match, and openly favor the heels in ways that made fans want to reach through their TV screens. But the most infuriating part was watching her smile smugly after screwing over fan favorites like Rey Mysterio and The Undertaker. By the time she stepped down in 2014, Vicky had mastered the art of getting booed out of a building. But while Vicky made fans boo her out of hatred, the anonymous Raw general manager made fans turn off the TV out of pure frustration.
This concept was probably worse than the celebrity one. At least the celebrity showed up and had some type of personality is what I'm saying. But the general manager with this thing was really stupid, bro. I don't get why this was needed. And then just to top it off, the payoff at the end of it was just garbage. You make Hornswoggle the anonymous general manager. So dumb payoff and really annoying as a thing overall.
Concept seemed intriguing at first. An unseen
Nah.
authority figure who would send emails to Michael Cole, who would then read them with his smuggest voice possible. But what started as an interesting mystery quickly became one of the most annoying gimmicks in Raw history. Every week, that obnoxious laptop chime would ring out, and fans knew they were about to hear some ridiculous decision that made
And
no
I
sense.
quote,
The anonymous GM would come.
I forgot about motherfucking. Oh my god, I forgot about this nigga Michael Cole putting the topping on the cake. Talking about, and I quote, like, oh my god, bro, this kind of went well with his little annoying ass heel roll he did around this time.
Constantly restart matches, reverse decisions, and make stipulations that clearly favored the heels. But the worst part wasn't just the bad booking. It was the complete lack of payoff. For nearly 2 years, fans endured this nonsense, waiting for a big reveal that would make it all worth it. Instead, we got the most anticlimactic revelation ever when it was casually mentioned that Hornswoggle had been the anonymous GM all along. The whole angle felt like a middle finger to fans who had invested time in the mystery. To this day, hearing that laptop chime brings back traumatic memories for wrestling fans who lived through this creative disaster.
And honestly, it wasn't even only that too, because like Hornswoggle played such a joke character for a long ass time, and he was supposed to be like some sort of rabbit nigga that can speak or something. Even we all know like wrestling's like it is what it is, but like come on, you could have had somebody else do it.
While the anonymous GM was a perfect example of how to not be an authority figure, William Regal showed the right way to run things during his legendary run as NXT General Manager from 2014
War
to 2019.
Games. That shit was fire.
Unlike
man.
the corporate puppets on the main roster, Regal felt like a real authority figure who understood what it meant to be a wrestler. His background as a legit tough guy and technical wrestling wizard gave him instant credibility with both the NXT roster and the fans. What made Regal so beloved was his fairness combined with his dry British wit. When heels like Kevin Owens and Pete Dunne would try to manipulate their way out of situations, Regal would shut them down with the authority of someone who'd seen every trick in the book. The NXT fans loved watching him deal with chaos. Whether it was Samoa Joe's Rampage or the Undisputed Era's schemes, Regal's signature call for War Games became iconic, and when he finally stepped down, it felt like NXT lost the cool uncle who could let loose and be strict at the same time. Regal proved that the best general managers aren't the ones who try to steal the show. They're the ones who make you care about the show.
Yeah, we don't have that a lot anymore. Of course, we got that with like Nick Aldis nowadays, but like we rarely have that, bro.
Speaking of general managers who made fans care, Daniel Bryan brought that same energy to SmackDown Live during his run from 2016 to 2018.
Oh my God, bro, this was a good time.
Fresh off his forced retirement, the leader of the Yes Movement channeled his passion for wrestling into being the most fan-friendly GM in WWE. What made Bryan special was that he never forgot what it felt like to be held back by corporate politics. So he always fought for the underdog wrestlers who reminded him of his own journey. When heels like The Miz would try to manipulate him, Bryan's fiery comebacks reminded everyone why fans fell in love with him in the first.
And around this time, this really gave us like one of the best like promos The Miz kind of had in a long ass time, with them going back and forth on Talking Smack. Like, and like they were just friends to the end, of course, because like they didn't really take that shit serious. But in the ending, I really enjoy like Daniel Bryan's like GM role, bro. It was good.
First place. Bryan's interactions with superstars like AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, and Kevin Owens created some of the most memorable GM segments in recent memory because you knew Bryan could kick their ass if they crossed the line. But what fans loved most was watching him gradually build toward his own comeback. Every week, you could see him getting more frustrated with just watching instead of competing. His eventual return to the ring in 2018 felt like the perfect payoff to his GM run. But while Bryan was turning SmackDown Live into the land of opportunities, Raw was going through its own bizarre phase with not one, but two general managers who felt out of place.
Mick Foley?
Mick Foley was appointed as the Raw GM in 2016, but quickly turned into an assistant for Stephanie McMahon and her husband, Triple H. The run also saw the introduction of the Universal title, which was
one of the fucking worst titles ever, bro. I'm glad they merged this with the other title, but like it was just so bland. I I really hate that like WWE for a long time had this bland ass design on the title. It's still going around right now. Like the World Heavyweight Championship, they slapped that on the Women's Heavyweight Championship, and it just continues to just be terrible.
Universally hated. However, Foley also made some good decisions, like booking Sheamus and Cesaro in a best-of-7 series before putting them into a tag team. When Stephanie McMahon and Triple H threatened his position, Foley retaliated by attacking Triple H with the Socko, but he would get fired the week later. When he was eventually written off TV, the reaction was more relief than sadness, which says everything about how his run as GM disappointed everyone involved.
Damn.
It wasn't that Foley was terrible, it was that he felt neutered by the corporate machine. Similarly complicated was Kurt Angle's return to WWE as Raw General Manager in 2017, replacing Foley as the captain of the Red brand.
This one, essentially, it was cool to see Kirk back. It was, I said Kirk. It was cool to see Kurt's back, actually. And it was, like, overall, like, a good run of, him making decisions and stuff like that. Maybe a little good feuds with superstars here and there, but I didn't like the thing that happened at the end of it. Like Baron Corbin ended up retiring him, the Constable Corbin stuff. Like, that it was. I don't know. I'm just annoyed every time I get a hold of this convo.
What made Angle's run interesting was his prior experience serving as GM for SmackDown back in 2004. During this crazy run, we saw Angle being chokeslammed by Big Show, coming out to the ring in a wheelchair, and even shooting Big Show with a tranquilizer dart on live TV. But while Angle's run on the Blue brand was wild, his run as Raw GM in 2017 was pure chaos. It started with the bizarre storyline of Jason Jordan being revealed as Angle's son. Angle would then go on to team up with Ambrose and Rollins in his first WWE match in 11 years at TLC. The run would keep getting crazier when Angle was appointed as captain of Team Raw at Survivor Series and would eventually team up with Ronda Rousey to take on Triple H and Stephanie at WrestleMania. While all of this was fun, the worst part of this run was watching the former Olympic gold medalist get punked out by wrestlers like Baron Corbin who couldn't lace his boots. His eventual transition back to active competition and matches against...
Okay, don't get it wrong. Bro, Corbin is a good wrestler, but... like, going up against that much of a legendary wrestler and, them getting him to do the job at WrestleMania was just terrible.
The likes of Drew McIntyre, Samoa Joe, Chad Gable, and AJ Styles provided some redemption, but his GM run left fans with mixed feelings. But while Angle's return was complicated, nobody has ever mastered the art of being both loved and hated at the same time, quite like Paul Heyman, whose brief but memorable run as SmackDown General Manager reminded everyone why he's considered one of wrestling's greatest minds. While in kayfabe, Heyman took over as the Blue brand's GM in 2003 after Vince beat Stephanie's ass on worldwide TV, but behind the scenes, Heyman had been the brain behind SmackDown since 2002. Under his creative lead, SmackDown saw a massive jump in wrestling quality with names like Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Edge, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero becoming mainstays on the Blue brand.
Which is crazy because, like, GMs are just, like, usually kind of, like, used for, like, face authority figures or whatever. But, like, just to know that he literally had this much pull and creative backstage is wild. I think they tried to do that, like, recently with, like, well, I forgot his name. Damn, I'm having like mind farts today. Yeah, fuck, I can't think of his name, but it'll come back to me. But yeah, like, just to think how much of creative control he had was really just like rare.
During this time period, Heyman also became Brock Lesnar's on-screen manager and participated in memorable storylines that solidified him as the evil genius. But while Heyman was leading the Blue brand, Eric Bischoff was carving out his own legacy as one of WWE's most hated general managers on Raw.
Yeah.
Eazy-E's run on the Red brand saw him bring back the cocky, ruthless attitude he had been known for in WCW as the boss of NWO.
And what made this whole thing iconic is like he came from WCW as like a whole surprise, and this motherfucker was literally like a rare ass hire. And just to see that he became like a general manager, like the stakes were just high.
Run as GM, Bischoff got involved in feuds against the likes of Teddy Long, Shane McMahon, John Cena, and even got chokeslammed off the stage by Kane. What made Bischoff unique from many other authority figures was his willingness to put his body on the line and his flexibility as both a face and a heel. Bischoff also introduced concepts like Raw Roulette and the Elimination Chamber, which would become mainstays on WWE programming for years. When Bischoff left the WWE in 2007, it marked the end of his run that saw him serve as Raw's general manager for 3 years. Speaking of...
Damn, that's a good long ass time, bro. Yeah, the early 2000s, these GMs were like legendary, bro. Like I still say, my overall pick for like, you know, probably like the older generation is gonna be Teddy Long. Probably just the new thing going around right now is probably going to be Nick Aldis. See, he's a really good general manager, bro. Let me know you guys' picks. Who you guys really like as like GMs? Let me know below. But I'll have the link for the link for this video in the description. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We are on the road to 800. See you guys in the next video.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?